Hey everybody, this is just a quick video showing you how to do what is called multi-step factoring. It just means that it's not set up for you perfectly easily, even though some of these factorings do turn out to be quite easy in the end. But as you look at this, it can be scary with negative signs, and especially we don't like anything where it's just not plain old x squared. So what you do is when you look at that, you see that -2 and you kind of groan, but then you realize, oh look, each of these has got a -2 in it, meaning I can divide out a -2. So when it says factor completely, what I'm really thinking I can do is just put big parentheses around this and imagine taking out a -2. And just to save myself like the typing, I'm going to show you the work right here. I can take out that -2, put a parentheses then, and what would be inside would be x squared. Then if you divide -18 by -2, you'll get plus 9x. And then if you divide -36 by -2, you'll get plus 18. And if you feel like you're kind of rusty in this skill or don't really understand it, just think about what it means to distribute in a number, and we're just doing that in reverse. And you can always check. That's one of the great things about math, is that you can always check your answer if you're not sure. If I multiply -2 times x squared, I'll get -2x squared. If I multiply -2 times a positive 9, I'll get -18, and so on. And this checks out. So now really, how do I factor this? Well, now this is old school, kind of easy factoring because it's just plain old x squared. I know it will factor to 2 parentheses. What are 2 things that multiply to make 18 that add up to make 9? That's what the plus sign tells me. This tells me that they're both going to be that plus there. So then I can just kind of cheat a little bit here and get rid of this and do x, then plus 6, and put a parentheses down, then an open parentheses, and then x plus 3. Now, I'm going to then get rid of that, I think. Whoops. No, it doesn't. Let's see. I just have to redo these parentheses. There we go. So if you check that out, that'll make sense that if I FOIL out x plus 6 and x plus 3, I'll get x squared plus 9x plus 18, and then multiply everything by -2, and I should be good. Let's submit that answer and get the green check mark. It maybe will not show, but yep, it does show. There we go. So if I do a new problem, this is similar but different. Don't be psyched out by this. That is just x squared squared in hiding. So you have to use some of your skills from earlier on. So really, this is like saying, hey, what is 1 minus x squared, whoops, x squared, all in parentheses, with parentheses there, all that squared. That's really what that is. Well, that's just the difference of 2 squares. And we know that when we have something like, x squared minus 16, that factors to be x plus 4 and x minus 4. So yeah, this looks really different at first, but with a little bit of practice, that's why we're doing this. You'll see that's 1 minus x squared times 1 plus x squared, okay? And if I FOIL that out, the middle bits will cancel. The plus and minus x squareds will cancel, and I'll get exactly what is up above, all right? So again, these look, whoops, what did I do wrong? Oh, I'm just talking too fast. Notice this. That is the difference of 2 squares. See, I'm learning from my mistakes. That anytime you have one set of factors and you still got a squared term, you got to ask yourself, will it factor more? So you can see I'm going fast. I get fooled, but that's it. I'm learning from my mistakes, so I'll move on, all right? Let's see if we see another one like this. Okay, this is going to be similar. We're not going to make any mistakes. We're just going to take out the common thing we see in everything. I see an x squared in all of these, so I can divide that out, and I see a -2. So I'm going to take out a -2x squared, and then what's left behind when I divide that will be an x squared. Okay, right? You're just dividing out, and then when I divide positive 10 by a -2x squared, I'll get minus 5x. And then when I divide positive 28 by a negative 2, I'll get minus 14. But then when I divide x squared by x squared, I'll just have the number. So this can be factored, and that'll factor into two parentheses. And that's going to be two things that multiply to make 14, but subtract to make the 5, and the negative sign will go with the bigger number. So you guys are good with this. I've seen you do it many, many times. And now it's going to be x then minus 7, and then x plus 2. And then again, good thing again, like I said, you can always FOIL it out and check your work. There's no reason really to make a mistake as long as you've got that the way it should be. Now, ask yourself, could I factor this anymore? Well, no, I could just write it as 2 times x, but there's no other factoring that can be done. I don't think they want you to write it as 2 times x. We'll see. If they want you to write it as 2 with a separate x and a separate x, that's okay. Submit answer. Yes. Okay, so they're good with that. All right. Then if we go back to the other skill, this was quadratic word problems. In doing these, it really helps to draw a picture. We're talking about a rectangle, so we know what that shape looks like. And then we want that area of the rectangle to be 28 square units, so we would just do length times width equals 28. But the width of the rectangle is the length minus 3 units. So we know W equals L minus 3. Or if we call the length X, or call the width X, and then we know that that is going to be the Y minus 3, we can make a substitution and then solve. All right. So the area of the rectangle is 28. What is the length in units of the rectangle? So I could just use X and then times X minus 3, because the one side is 3 units shorter than the other side. If I multiply that, it'll equal 28. All right. If I FOIL that out, I'll get x squared minus 3x minus 28. So I'll do that. X squared minus 3x, then minus 28 will equal 0. And so that's a quadratic word problem that's set up for like a quadratic. What two things multiply to make 28 that subtract to make 3? That's going to be 7 and 4. So it's going to be a minus 7 and a positive 4. The only solution that works then would be a positive 7, because you can't have a length of minus 3. So my actual answer for that is 7. 7 times 4 gives me 28. So there's my answer. Let's see if there's any issue with that, and there's not. Okay, so we'll do one more quickly. The width of a rectangle is the length minus 2 units. The area is 8. Okay, this is very, very simple. Very much the same. I'm going to save time. Actually, let's see if they do any type. When 27 is subtracted from the square of a number, okay, so this is just translating the word problem carefully into a quadratic and then using your good skills to solve it. So when 27 is subtracted from the square of a number, so I'm going to say x squared. Okay, that's the square of the number. When 27 is subtracted from that, what happens? The result, that means that's equal to 6 times the number. So 6x. There you go. How do I solve that? I shove everything over to one side, so I'll say then minus 6x minus 27 will be equal to 0. Can I factor that? What two things multiply to make 27 that subtract to make 6? I think that's going to be 9 and 3. And so I'll have x minus 9 and x plus 3. What's the negative solution is the x plus 3 solution will give me negative 3, right? So when I take this and I say, oh, that's equal to x minus 9 and then x plus 3, and those equal 0. I'm just factoring that. Remember, that equals 0. When is this equal to 0? When x is positive 9 or when x is negative 3, and they want a negative solution. So I'm just going to type in negative 3 and submit my answer. Okay? So good luck with that. should go quickly.